Welcome back to my channel. So a few of our videos have changed since doing the announcement video, and this is one of them. This was going to be the shelf by shelf tour, showing you my favorite and my least favorite from each shelf. But I was thinking about it, and I only keep books that I love. So I felt that that would be very anticlimactic. I would just be like, oh, well, I love all 6 of the books that I've read on this shelf. Or whatever. And then I would just, I don't know. I thought it would be boring. And I thought we could discuss one of my goals from last year and how well I did on that goal. So, one of my goals was to read more series. And I really didn't think that I had read enough series to make this video. Y'all, I read 50 series. Or like the start, at least one book from 50 different series today. And I don't want this video to be like extra super duper long. So I have crossed out all of the ones that I am not continuing with. And we are not going to be talking about those today. If that is a video that you would like, then let me know in the comments below and I will make that video. But I feel like that's just going to be very negative and like, okay, well, I didn't, you know, it was a fine book. A lot of them were good books. They were fine. I just don't feel compelled to keep reading that series. And about 15 of them are middle grade, and I've just realized that middle grade isn't for me. So why would I read a middle grade series in which I'm not enjoying it? Like, it's just okay for me. I will do that video if you want me to, but I personally just think that it feels too negative. Today we are just going to be talking about, I think I have 20 different series to talk about here. Some I have already finished. Some I am up to date with, and some I haven't even, you know, I'm way behind. In 2021, I read the entire Renegades trilogy. I think it took me all of 4 months to read all 3 books, and those are hefty books. Those are bricks. But I enjoyed it so much that I just had to get through it so quick. And I loved that sci-fi series, which is crazy because I don't read sci-fi. But this is a sci-fi series in which you follow Nova. Nova? Is that her name? Yeah, Nova. And she is you live in a world between superheroes and supervillains. Nova is kind of caught in the middle, and you find a found family trope, and it's so interesting. Like, there isn't really magic, but the superhero thing aspect is really good. There's a really nice revenge plot. And the only thing that I would have changed about this book is, like, the love story. But I know I'm the unpopular opinion there. I don't want to give away too much. It's just a sci-fi series about superheroes and revenge and vengeance. And I really, really, really enjoyed that one. Last year, I read American Royals by Catherine McGee. It was actually my favorite book of 2020, if I remember correctly. And this year, Majesty, the next in the series, so I think it's a duology, So, the second in the duology came out. I read it, but I hated it. So now I'm treating this as if it were a standalone. Because that ending was pure trash. It was just terrible because the thing is that I got so invested in American Royals. I got so invested in these people and these relationships, and I knew exactly what was going to happen in Majesty, or what I wanted to happen in Majesty, and then it went a different direction, and I was not happy at all. Then the last two that I finished, oh no, there's three. Okay, so I finished 3 other series, and I read the Dorothy Must Die Quartet in 1 month. 1 month. I read all 4 books. I did think that the first book was too long, and a lot of that could have been edited out. And I did think that the 4th book was only okay. But I know that they have a short story collection. There's like 3 of them, I believe. I still want to read that, but I still am considering this series done because the series, like the main series is finished. One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I read that for a second time this year, and I finally read One of Us is Next by Karen M. McManus. So I believe it's just going to be a duology, and I finished it. I honestly thought the first one was better than the second one. It should have been a standalone. But in the first one, you follow these 5, high school kids who are basically like the Breakfast Club, They're all different groups. And then something happens and they all go to detention, and then one of them dies in detention, and you're trying to figure out who killed this kid or what happened to this kid, if he was killed, and how did they do it, because it was pretty epic. And I enjoyed that one. It was a really nice whodunit. The second one follows different characters a couple years later. They are somehow related to what happened. They live in that small town, and they are dealing with the aftermath of that, and then someone starts playing Truth or Dare via the phone, text messages. Oh, well, if you don't do this, then I am going to tell the world your secrets. And it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I feel like the first one was strong. Or the last series that I finished was To All the Boys I've Loved, the 4 series by Jenny Han. So I had read P.S. I Love You, P.S. I Like You. I read the first 2 in the series last year, and then I finished the series this year, and I am of the unpopular opinion that this should have been a standalone. I did not like the sequel or the third one, and I felt like the sequel was kind of like the garbage in between book that was just filled with drama just to have something to read and write about, and I did not like that one. So I was very hesitant to finish the series, and when I did, I kind of felt sad. It was okay. I haven't even watched the 3rd movie, and I don't think I'm ever going to. That should have been just a standalone. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Then we are going to talk about books that I am currently caught up with, but might have more books coming out soon. The first one is Clown in Cornfield by Adam Caesar. The sequel to that is coming out in 2022. It's like Frida lives again. Frito lives again. The clown lives again. Something like that. In the first one, you follow this group of kids who are partying as teenagers do, and this clown in the cornfield starts trying to murder them one by one, and it's a fun slasher. I really enjoyed it. It was probably the first slasher book that I read that really got me into wanting to read more. So I did read quite a few slashers this year. I have 2 more. Okay, so I recently read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and that was such a cute romance. And apparently it's going to be a series, but as of right now, it's the only one in the series. I need to get my hands on this next one. I don't know when it comes out, though. Maybe next year. Beats me. But in The Love Hypothesis, you follow this grad student who ends up fake dating like a professor, but it's not exactly like he's her professor. He's not. And like, it's not as forbidden, and there's really no age gap or anything. But it's like 2 smart people. But it's so cute. Because our main character is trying to prove to her best friend that she's over the guy that her best friend is trying to date, because like she had a crush on him, and she's like, oh no, date him, it's fine, whatever. And her best friend doesn't believe her, so she ends up kissing the first guy that she sees, and then when they get done kissing, she finally realizes, oh my god, he's the professor, and no, and then somehow they come up with a deal to fake date, and fake dating is just my favorite trope ever. The other one that I'm all caught up on is The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. So The Ravens is the first in a duology that I will not shut up about, so I'm very sorry. You've probably heard me pitch this book a million times on my channel, but I absolutely love it. So it's like the sorority house. It's also witches, so it's kind of like a coven, and then there's some dark academia vibes because there's a murder mystery happening and the witches have to investigate. Hey, that was really quick. But in 2022, I believe January of 2022, The Monarchs, which is the second in the duology, comes out, and I need that book like yesterday. All the rest that I'm going to talk about are series in which I am not caught up on. There are a couple that I'm questioning if I'm even going to continue on with this series, but I will tell you when we get to that point. I recently read The Dating Dare by J.C. Lee. Apparently that is the second in a companion novel duet or duology. I don't know. I'm not really sure what the difference is. But a 2-book series. It's the last one. And the first one is A Sweet Mess. I don't know what that one's about. I think that there's something to do with baking, and I think in the Dating Dare you find out you're at this wedding at the very beginning, and these 2 people are getting married. I think A Sweet Mess is their love story, how they happened, and I believe baking is a big deal in that book. And this year I started 2 series by Piper Lawson. So there's a love song for liars. I read the first 2 books in this quartet, and then the thing is that they were on my Kindle, and the rest of them cost like $2, and I don't want to pay for Kindle books because I'm cheap. Roasting myself. No, but I seriously haven't bought them yet on Kindle. I don't know. Maybe someday. But then there's the Wicked series, which I read Good Girl and Bad Girl for that, and then there's 2 more in that series as well. They're just some steamy new adult romances. I kind of liked A Love Song for Liars better. That one's like a musician. Actually, I think they're both musicians romances, which is weird. I didn't think that that was my type of thing, but I really enjoyed it. The first 4 books in the Curvy Girls Can't series by Kelsey Staling. So I read Curvy Girls Can't Date Quarterbacks, Curvy Girls Can't Date. Okay, so we're going to continue with the ones that I know I want to finish. So I want to finish the duet or the duology of Love, Life, and the List. I think the next one is Love, Life, and the... For the next one, I'm not 100% sure, but it's a duology or a duet. I really, really enjoyed Love, Life, and the List. I found that I really like books that have a list aspect. Generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, I like when a book has a list and then you have to go conquer that list, and it's just really cute. And I'm ready for the sequel. Okay, I think this one is a duology or duet as well. And I read Royals by Rachel Hawkins, and I freaking love that. It was about, like, this lady is getting married to this prince, and her sister is going to be in the wedding, but they all think that she needs etiquette lessons on how to be a princess. You know, princess by marriage. And through these etiquette lessons, maybe she might fall in love with a prince of her own, and it's just adorable. So I would like to read Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. I believe that's the final in the duology or the duet. I'm not really sure what the difference is. If you could let me know in the comments below what the difference is, that'd be awesome. The next one is one that I really want to finish. It's Sheets by Brenna Thumler. That is a graphic novel, and the next one is already out, and I really just want to read it. So Sheets follows this girl who lost her mom, so she's trying to help her dad keep their business alive as a laundromat, but they're losing money, and she's really scared that they're gonna go bankrupt. And then this friendly ghost who takes the form of a sheet comes to help her, and maybe tries to save the business. So I would really like to read the next in the series. I think the next one is called Delicates, and I just think it sounds super cute. Do want to finish Merciless, The Merciless by Danielle Vega. I listened to that on audiobook, and it scared the freaking bejesus out of me. So you follow these teenage girls who are convinced that one of their friends is possessed. So it gave me very 80s vibes, but it's fairly modern. But they think that she's possessed, so they kidnap her and torture her. And then some scary stuff actually does start happening, and it was just terrible. But it was terrifying because I'm like, oh my god, wait, what? And I had to like back up the audiobook and re-listen, and then I'm like, oh my god, and I had shivers the whole time, and I just really loved it. So I want to know where it goes from there. I believe there are 4 books in this series. I almost forgot to talk about The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong. So I read The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test this year, and I own The Heart Principle, and I really want to read it, but I heard that it's very, very heavy, and I'm not ready for that right now. So Eventually, I do want to finish that series too. Those are the Kiss Quotient series. It is like a companion novel series, and you follow different couples in each book. So far, my favorite is the Kiss Quotient. I thought it was a lot better than the Bride Test. The Bride Test was only okay for me, but I will read anything that Helen Wong writes because she is amazing. Her writing is so different than anything else I've ever read before, and it's kind of awkward and quirky, just like her main characters, and I really, really enjoy her writing. So we have a few on here that I'm not sure I'm gonna finish or not, but I didn't want to just like cross them out because part of me is very intrigued to keep exploring this series, and part of me is like, not so much. So these are more of like my maybe I would like to finish someday. The first one is The Drowning Deep by Mara Grant. I loved this book. So it's like killer mermaids, submarine, boat life, and it had really good representation in it. But the book was so freaking long. And I feel like a quarter of it, if not maybe a little bit more than that, could have just been cut out, edited. I feel like a quarter of it, if not a little bit more, could have just been edited and cut out. Like, it was too long. And I did really enjoy it, but it just got so long, and there were so many boring parts, and so I don't know if I want to continue. Two book series as well, I believe. And the first one is it's The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So I really enjoyed the commentary on this book. It has a huge hidden message, has a huge message, and it's very prevalent of the world that we live in today. And it says a lot about racism, especially in America, and things like that, and it hurt me to read. But there's something about Angie Thomas's writing that just didn't jive with me as well, and I don't know if I want to continue on with the series. I think the next one is on the come up. I do really want to continue with the series, but at the same time, like, the writing was so hard for me to get into. The next one is a 2-book series. I guess I really like 2-book series. But it's The Boyfriend Project by Farrah Rochin, and it's just a fun romance. Now that I've read quite a bit of romance, I mean, I'm still very, very new to the romance genre, do not get me wrong, but because I've kind of explored more of the genre, I do feel like it wasn't my favorite romance, and for that fact, I might not continue on with the series because it's kind of forgettable to me. I believe that it follows this main character. I think it's like a workplace romance, and I can't tell you anything else besides that because it would be spoilers. I do really want to start like Tessa Bailey, Talia Hilbert. Ooh, I should have wrote them down. I'll put pictures of the books that I'm talking about. So those are all the books, or all the series that I am at least debating if I want to continue or not. Most of them I do really want to continue, and I'm really excited for them. But some of them I'm just like, I don't know. I am really excited to continue my goal of not being afraid of series. I feel like I did fairly well on that goal in 2021, and I want to read more in 2022. So give me your best series. But I'm not a huge like epic fantasy reader, and I know that a lot of series are epic high fantasies. Those are not my thing, or sci-fis. Yeah, no, not for me. I'm sorry. But give me some really good recommendations, like maybe romance series. Even if they're like companion novels, those would be good. I do want to explore more series, so don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will catch you tomorrow.